Hi, I'm Karen with Brilliant Travelers, and today we are going to be looking at Virgin Voyages. We're going to look at all the ways that they are a fantastic value, and in the end, your cruise can come out costing less than it does on some of those big cruise lines. So let's get started. Let's start with my biggest pet peeve, the drink packages. The fact that on most of the big cruise lines, everybody in the cabin has to have the same drink package. That does not usually work for me. The great news is on Virgin Voyages, they have what's called a bar tab, where you put an amount of money onto this bar tab, they'll add more on top of that, and that can be shared by both people or all four or however many are in the cabin. They can share that bar tab. They can even share it with other people on board. They can buy drinks for other people. So I like the bar tab concept a lot. Also, let's talk about soda packages. They don't have a soda package because soda is included, as well as sparkling water. I know a lot of people love their canned sparkling water. They actually have that on tap, and you can have it anytime you want. They do have a fee for room service. However, that can be waived if, in addition to the food that you order, you also get a drink that is worth at least $10. So as long as you're ordering drinks with your room service, that fee is waived. And then when they have the big sail away party at the beginning, they have champagne, and the champagne flows. So at these sail away parties, I've never had a problem getting as much champagne as I wanted to have. They're definitely not stingy with that champagne. So you can feel the difference right away once you get on a Virgin Voyages cruise. With them, they're not trying to squeeze every nickel and dime out of you. All right, let's talk dining, because this is where Virgin really shines. All of their specialty restaurants are included with your fare. There is no upcharge for them. So on your big cruise ships, the dining that comes included in your fare would either be the buffet or the main dining room. Not a huge fan of buffets. It's a lot of food sitting around in bins under heat lamps. It really never improves the quality of the food. And then with the big restaurants, they are actually seating and feeding 1,000, even 2,000 people at a seating. And that's really hard to do, to have fantastic food with that number of people. Sometimes it's good, it's not great. With Virgin, you've got several smaller restaurants. They have a theme to them, so it might be Mexican, it might be Italian, it might be a steak restaurant. They have a menu specifically for that, as well as cocktails that go with it, and the food is fantastic. This is what everyone raves about, is the food. There is also sit down available at absolutely every restaurant. Even in the galley, which is probably the closest Virgin comes to a buffet, all of the food is made to order, but you can sit down and scan the QR code on the menu that's on your table, order your food, and it'll be brought to you. So really every restaurant on board is sit down with wait service, which is very nice. Each restaurant, as I said, is its own dining experience. It has fantastic decor, music, food, cocktails. So it's like going to a specialty restaurant on one of the big ships. The menus on these restaurants are designed by Michelin star chefs. They are absolutely incredible. I'm always wowed by them. And Virgin, not wanting to rest on their laurels, they've only been out for a couple of years, but they're already updating a lot of the menus and adding new items just to keep it fresh, which I think is just fantastic. So really, it's not just about the food that's included, it's that it's thoughtful and creative and better than most of the cruise lines charge extra for. Now let's look at entertainment. While it's true, even the big cruise lines aren't charging for the shows that you go and see in the evening, neither is Virgin, but their shows are just a step above. They are edgy and unique and unexpected. We are always surprised. We'll go into a show and be like, I have no clue what this is going to be about. And we'll walk out every time going, wow, that was wow. So they have audience participation. They have cabaret. They just have a lot of shows, and they're bringing on new shows all the time that are just unique and different, and you're not going to find anywhere else. The other thing that really stands out for me is trivia. I love trivia. I am a font of useless knowledge, and I love going to play trivia. I get so disappointed on the big cruise lines when all it is a bunch of people with pencil and paper and one of the crew members on their iPhone looking up questions. Not very exciting. They put a lot more effort into their trivia on Virgin Voyages. It's fun. They have themes. They have all kinds of unique twists to the game. They put a lot more effort into it, and it shows. So now let's talk about the other things to do on board. We were watching a video the other night that was giving a tour of one of these big new cruise ships, and it pointed out one of the features that you could do. It was $44 per person. It was something kind of like an escape room sort of thing. I was like, oh my gosh, I can imagine by the end of that cruise how all those things are going to start to add up. Little thing, but it's fabulous. On Virgin Voyages, they have an arcade. It is filled with a lot of the arcade games you probably played in high school, and they're all free. So it's a lot of fun to go in there and kind of have a flashback to your high school days and play the arcade games. They also have a lot of other games available you can just borrow and use throughout the cruise. And then finally, let's talk about the music. They have some fantastic DJs playing out by the pool, as well as live music in all the lounges. And then there's those stage shows. Besides the big main stage show, they're going to have smaller ones with some really unique musicians on them. So we're always pleasantly surprised by all the entertainment on our Virgin cruises. Let's talk about ship design. And no, this does not cost extra on either type of ship, whether it's Virgin or one of the big cruise lines. But this is where I feel like I have an even better vacation because of the extras that are designed into Virgin Voyages ships. Let's start with those hammocks, those famous red hammocks that you get when you have a balcony cabin. However, not all balcony cabins on board have a hammock. You want to make sure you are working with a travel advisor, like my travel advisor, Doug Gordon, who can make sure when you book that balcony cabin that you're going to get one with a hammock. Next up, let's talk about day beds. On most cruise ships, they have day beds, those big, nice, comfy, padded loungers, but they're almost all by the pool. On a Virgin ship, they are absolutely everywhere. They are going to be on multiple decks. There's going to be so many places that instead of just laying on one thin lounger, you can spread out, you can relax with your friends, order some food, order some drinks. You've got all the space that you want. They've also got them, if you're not looking to be out in the sun, they've got lots of these lounger day beds inside. This is outside, but I got to tell you about one of my favorite ones that a lot of people don't know about. I always like to go to the ice cream parlor, the Lick Me Till ice cream parlor, get an ice cream, and if I walk right out the door by the ice cream parlor, there is a huge section of day beds out there that hardly anybody finds. Every time I go out there, there's very few people, sometimes nobody. So it is a fantastic place if you're looking for a little bit of quiet, enjoy your ice cream, maybe read a book, something like that. That's where you want to go. All right, let's talk about my next favorite design feature. That is the nap blankets. I love a good nap when I'm on vacation because evidently you're not supposed to do that at work, I've been told. So when I'm on Virgin Voyages, I'm so excited that they have a nap blanket for me, and it just encourages you to just stop, relax, and unwind and take a nap. Final thing I want to kind of a point for you is I want to talk to you about the dock. This is the app-facing relaxation area on Deck 5. This is where, and I'll tell you, you won't be the only one there. You want to get there early, but I usually find a nice space because there is a lot, once again, of those really huge lounger day beds. They have fantastic food there. You're facing app. It's just a fantastic experience being out there on the dock. I encourage you to check that out if you go on a Virgin cruise. Let's recap and wrap this up. Why is Virgin Voyages such a fantastic value and actually cheaper than a lot of those big cruise lines? It starts with what's included. That is where once you see that base fare with the big cruise lines, there's going to be an addition with the gratuities, with the drink package, or just buying drinks on board, as well as all of those extra things that you might want to do on board. With the Wi-Fi, all of those can cost extra. In addition, on Virgin, they're not constantly upselling you. Everywhere you go, it's not, oh, you could have this, but we have this for an extra cost. The attitude is much more inclusive. You're here, you've spent your money, we're going to show you a fantastic time. And along those same lines, I gotta give a shout out to the crew on Virgin Voyages. They really go above and beyond, and they have just a fantastic can-do attitude for helping you get anything done you want to get done, really. So those are some of the top reasons that Virgin Voyages is a better value. If you don't believe me now, I'm going to go ahead and include a link in the description to a chart that I created that dollar for dollar shows a 7-day cruise on one of the big cruise lines versus Virgin Voyages. Both of them were having sales at the time, so I included that information in the chart, but it'll show you dollar for dollar that Virgin is a better deal. So if you are sold on Virgin, my travel agent Doug Gordon is hosting not one but 2 cruises on Virgin Voyages starting in late 2025. So first, there is a Halloween cruise. It's a 4-night out of Miami that is going to have just a fantastic all-adult Halloween party on board. It's going to Key West during Fantasy Fest, as well as going to Virgin's private island on Bimini. And then also, he's got one scheduled for next year that is going to be in Europe. It is going to be in late August, going from the UK to Iceland. So a really unique, fantastic itinerary. We are going to leave the links for those below. Hope you can join us. Thanks for watching.